Hello and welcome to Super Turbo 64, the podcast in which two friends get together and shoot the shit about video games. I'm Jason Vandervoort, and I am joined by Jeff Ross.
Hello.
How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good.
Nice. I'm glad to hear
it.
Good.
How about you? How are you?
I'm well. I'm very well.
That's what I'd like to hear.
So, we have yet another guest in the studio today.
That's right. This actually making a semi-permanent stay here on the podcast. We have Johan, my new kitten friend, my hairy roommate. He's about 2 months old, and he's orange, and he's adorable.
Mm-hmm. He's also our new prospective sound engineer. Yeah, he's found himself to be incredibly fascinated with all of our sound equipment. He's been kind of taking a lot of furtive glances and like kind of messing around with our headphone cables. So definitely, I think he's putting himself in a position to kind of manage all of our sound from here onward, which to me is a great idea.
It's a godsend.
Yeah, exactly. And it's gonna make our jobs just that much easier.
Yeah. Yep. If you hear more mewing and crying, it's an unloved kitten demanding attention.
Yep. Johan usually takes a position either on Jeff's stomach or on his shoulder at any given point of the day.
He loves laying on people.
Yep. Before we started recording, Jeff was theorizing that Johan was a pirate in another life.
A parrot.
Parrot.
Yeah.
Oh.
A parrot in a past life because of how much he likes to sit on shoulders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Could have been both. A pirate parrot.
A parrot belonging to a pirate, yeah.
Yeah,
or one with a eye patch of some kind.
Yeah. I mean, parrots that belong to pirates are essentially part of the crew.
That's right.
So their crimes are the crimes of the crew.
And they should be hung.
Exactly.
In the name of the crown.
Exactly, yeah. I've seen Pirates of the Caribbean. I know how this works.
Remember when they hung that child in the beginning of the third movie?
I do. I know. I was just thinking about that. It's an unexpectedly heavy scene.
Yeah,
for that light of a adventure series.
Welcome to Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean. We
People
murder children now. Yeah.
Disney grew up. Why don't you?
Why didn't Jack save him?
Jack saves so few people in those movies.
Oh, well. So, Jason, I got an important question for you.
Okay.
One that
okay, I'm ready.
I would like you to really just brace yourself for. What have you been playing lately?
Oh, God, I was not prepared for that. This is not the kind of question I was looking for today. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Ooh.
As a matter of fact, I finished it not too terribly long ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it treated you well?
It treated me very well. It's so Ghost of Tsushima is an open world samurai game.
Yeah.
Which is something I feel like most people have been waiting for a very long time.
It's a great premise for
it. Is, yeah. It's like one of those premises that I feel like will make people think, why didn't we do that?
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier, but it's like in the first Assassin's Creed, there's an Easter egg in it that kind of hints at other aspects of the Assassin's Guild across the world, and there's a bunch of insinuations for there being a big presence in Japan.
Yeah.
So a lot of people for a long time had been under the belief that there was going to be an Assassin's Creed game set in Japan.
It just makes a lot of sense,
It really does.
Some kind of ninja assassin.
Exactly, yeah.
But
we've still never seen that, much to my great disappointment. But
that's right.
The development team who made the infamous games back on the PS3 and on the PS4, those are the people that have made Ghost of Tsushima. And Sucker Punch, for my money, are probably one of the best developers for open world stuff.
Insomnia. Sucker Punch, or
yeah.
Oh,
isn't Sucker Punch that makes it?
Okay.
Yeah.
You said
yeah. Oh, Insomnia is who did Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yes, but yeah, Sucker Punch did Ghost of Tsushima, and it's they really knocked it out of the park. Awesome. such a heavily like beautiful cinematic experience. I really dug it.
Yeah. It battled its way through the fatigue that we all seem to be having with open world games and made its way into your heart.
Yeah, exactly. No, like I've for a while now, like you said, I've been just extremely wore out by open world games. The process of the prospect of another one showing up is just like it's
too daunting.
It's a little too daunting. Yeah, like the idea of seeing another big open world map impossibly filled to the brim with icons and collectibles.
Is that what it looks like in Tsushima?
No. Good. I mean, there's collectibles and side stuff to do in Tsushima, but with it's done a little bit better than a lot of its peers, you know?
Nice.
And the way they've kind of like interwoven pretty much most of the side stuff and collectible stuff into the story and into what's going on also feels a little bit more natural.
Nice.
You know, I mean, there's still obviously going to be collectible things, but it's not like, to mention Assassin's Creed again, there's not going to be this element of like, can you go catch all these feathers for me?
Yeah. I've planted 400 flags around Damascus. I dare you to pick them all up.
Or, I've created 1 million riddles, Batman.
Yeah.
500,000 of them involve your car.
There were literally 900 Koroks hiding on this plateau.
Yeah, so, and so on,
Yeah.
and so forth. But thankfully, I feel Ghost of Tsushima handled its collectibles and side stuff a lot better. So yeah, I didn't do all of it, but I did make it through the game. I beat it, and yeah, it was a fantastic experience. It's unfortunately a PS4 exclusive, so a lot of people won't have the opportunity to play it.
Sure.
But both my girlfriend Techie and I played it, and we've both loved
dug
it.
it hard.
Yeah.
Did Techie finish it yet?
She's still playing it.
Right on.
Yep, she's still playing it right now.
You know, I almost started it today.
Nice.
Because I finished the game myself. But before we talk about that, any other games you've been playing?
Let me think. The main game on my plate has been Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I don't know. I just started my second playthrough of it.
Right on.
Yeah, and it's been phenomenal. But
awesome.
I want to hold off on talking about Three Houses because there's so much that I could talk about with it.
Sure.
And so,
saving it for later.
Exactly, yeah. Especially once I have a little bit more game time under my belt.
Hear that, dear listener? Be tantalized.
Yeah, Fire Emblem stuff is going to show up eventually.
On the horizon.
Oh. Well, now, how about you?
Yeah, no, I finally finished The Last of Us 2.
Props.
Thank you. And phenomenal game. Just, knocked it out of the park. And I've thought a lot about why it took me... For me, it seemed like it took me a long time. You having problems there?
Nope,
no?
I'm fine.
Okay. It seemed like it took me a long time by comparison, like, looking at how quickly I've gone through The Last of Us 1 every time I played it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is it such a difference? Is it my state of being right now, or is it the game, or a mix? And I think I realized towards the end of it that it's sort of like Breaking Bad for me, because Breaking Bad stressed me out enough that I loved the show, but didn't want to watch it, and then just kind of made myself watch it, continued to watch it, etc., and went on. The Last of Us 2, I'm like, I care about these characters so much that I don't want what happens to them to happen to them, and it happens, but you just keep on going.
Right. Yeah,
I want to talk a lot about this game, but I don't want to spoil the game at all.
Exactly.
Either.
That's a difficult position that we find ourselves in doing this. Like, you want to kind of give a some pretty in-depth analysis to some of these games, especially the ones that you're really into, but at the same time you don't want to risk like someone who just started
right,
like The Last of Us 2.
I know, and I have a great little prop for this. Jason
Yes.
hasn't played it at all yet, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I can, I don't want to ruin it for Jason.
Thank you.
And in that way, you, the audience member, you're saved from me telling you that Snape kills Dumbledore. But the other game Breaking Bad, not a game, but the other thing it made me think of is when I first played Ocarina of Time when I was but a child, and I got through the third dungeon, and I'm like, yes, time to kill Ganondorf. And so, I remember even telling people, I'm like, I gotta be close to the end of Last of Us now. I've hit the 12-hour mark. It's reached a climax for our main character. And then, just like in Ocarina, you get sent into the frickin' future, and there's 7 more dungeons, 8 to complete, and there is an entire 60% left of the game when I thought I was near the end.
Yeah.
Sorry for visiting Math Town, but
At this point, you live on the outskirts of Math Town.
It's like in Parks and Rec where there's Pawnee and like Shelbyville or some crap. Anyway, no, that's The Simpsons.
You live on the outskirts of Math Town, and Math Town has the closest grocery store. So, I mean, you don't always like having to go into town, but you need your groceries, so you're back in Math Town.
Could you imagine having to shop for groceries in Math Town? You have to do your own taxes, like at the register, Yeah.
I would starve and die.
Johan does not like the sound of that. I don't like the sound of that either.
Good. I'm glad that we're all on the same page, including Johan.
But no, my final playthrough time was about 28 hours.
Nice.
Which is a very long single-player game.
It is, yeah. Unless it's a JRPG.
Yeah, for the AAA experience or whatever,
Yeah.
Those ungenrified games that we seem to see a lot in the...
Yeah. It's also, like puts it about almost twice the length of most Naughty Dog games, Like, do you happen to have an idea, like, what the ballpark would be for how long the original Last of Us was?
I have to think it was around 15 hours or something like that.
Right.
And
none of the Uncharted games were particularly that long. Uncharted 4, I seem to remember being...
It was longer,
Yeah. But still, getting close to 30 hours, like that's quite a runtime.
Yeah. Certainly got a lot of bang for my buck.
That's it's possible that might be close to about what my ending playtime was for Tsushima.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I think I want to say there's a time counter somewhere, not super readily available, but I would imagine that I probably put somewhere in that ballpark in there.
Right on. I want to send a message to all the haters out there, the player haters, the people who don't respect the game.
Yeah, give us a little bit of background about that.
No, I've never seen such backlash for such a good game before. A lot of people hate The Last of Us 2 because it is it's a forward-thinking game in terms of, like, social politics, And so there's gay characters, there's a trans character, there's, non-traditional masculinity versus feminine attitudes and stuff like that. And there's, and they're like, her muscles shouldn't be that big. It's the post-apocalypse. How could she possibly have that many muscles, And you hear that sort of comment, and people just pile onto Metacritic, giving it the lowest rating they can, just to really drag down this. I don't understand. I've even seen a screenshot of the voice actor for one of the main characters, all the death threats she received for what her character did in the game.
That's so wild.
Isn't that bizarre?
That's incredibly bizarre.
Literal children are accessing Twitter, I think. That's what's happening. They're going on, they're hitting up those DMs. It's just, it's not cool.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a topic for a whole other episode, but, like, the idea of, I like Metacritic in general. I like the idea of a generalized rating.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, any person, say if you just got all of your reviews from, say, IGN or something, depending on the person who's reviewing the game, they might have a very different perspective or series of interests in a game that could vary quite differently from yours. So having something like Metacritic is really nice. But, the other part of Metacritic where you've got the user score, that's where you run into...
I literally ignore it. That's what I do.
And yeah, that feels good. And it's like you get the same thing with things like, with YouTube or, so many other platforms where it's like everybody has the opportunity to be, to put themselves as an expert of this thing. And I mean, we're not exactly
exempt from that.
No, we have a podcast. But, I try not to be, even in games that I love or don't really like, I try to take certain levels of criticism out of it and just to enjoy it for the experience that it is.
Right, and it's not so much, and people have the right to hate whatever they want.
For sure.
But to me, it's not that they hate the game for its gameplay or its story. It's they hate the game for...
its politics.
Its politics,
yeah.
Exactly. And that's what drives me a little crazy.
Yeah.
And especially since I happen to be on the liberal side of those politics myself, so it's just like, it's a little frustrating.
Right. Yeah. When it's funny when you listed all of those characteristics about what the game features that has drawn so much criticism from people. I was thinking to myself, like, man, Last of Us 2 really wasn't on my radar that much before.
And you're like,
it's a lot more on my radar now.
Yeah.
Just like, man, that is the shit that interests me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's like, and this is coming from someone who loved The Last of Us 1. Yeah. It's just like, I think I had been in this position where it's like after I played The Last of Us, and not going to spoil anything about that game, but it ends in such a profound and conclusive way that even after seeing trailers and whatnot for Last of Us 2, in my mind I was like, my Last of Us experience is like, it's over. Like I didn't see a need to continue with it.
And it's not one of those games, the second one, that you can ignore the first one and start the second one. I think it really draws a lot from the first game and asks you to be familiar with the characters and what they've done. And so my advice to you, if you haven't played those games, start with the first game, love it, and then start with the second game afterward, and the loving will happen.
The loving will happen.
I've been playing another game as well, and that's a little thing called Dragon Ball FighterZ.
It's always somewhere.
That's right. Whether it's on the bottom of my playlist or the top, it's there.
It's in the playlist.
Yeah, exactly. Lately, it's been at the top next to The Last of Us got dominance for a weekend, but FighterZ... I feel like I got past a plateau that I'd been stuck at for literal months, if not a year.
Sure.
And I started doing longer combos. As silly as that sounds to somebody who doesn't play fighting games, now that I can do longer, more damaging combos, I can enjoy the game more or something like that. It's just like...
it's unlocked more of the experience to you.
That's right. And I, for those interested in... I haven't landed one online, but for those interested in the game, I have finally started to perform Touch of Death combos, and I been playing against people that are a little better, and it's been a lot of fun. Another nice thing about a fighting game is that you can go into, like, you can pick a new team or a new character, and that'll refresh the game for you just like that.
Yeah, exactly.
By having like 28 characters in the roster, you might have 28 different gameplay styles depending on the game, and
sure,
that really adds a ton of replay value.
Yeah, I would like Fighters has probably been one of your most played games
in
like,
my life.
Yeah, period. Yeah, like not just like this year or in the last few years, but period.
If you counted the Smash series, which you can't really because they're individual games, but they would probably be the only competitor. Yeah. That and like RuneScape from when I don't know how much time I put into that when I was little, middle school.
It's a deep
or whatever.
cut.
Yeah, but anyhow, been that sort of leads us to our topic a little bit.
Yes.
Both these games have kind of made me think of my white whales, if you will.
Yes. Please give the listeners this is a Jeff Ross term in regards to how it pertains to what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd love to hear your let's hear your Wikipedia definition.
Well, these games might be unplayed or unfinished or unloved the way that they should be by your standards, but to me, what a white whale game is, it's like, you think, Johan, you think of like Ahab. He's been on the sea for 10 long years or whatever, and he's waiting to see that frickin' whale again. And he's just like, once he sees it, he's gonna do it. He's gonna kill that frickin' whale, but he just can't seem to find it again.
Yep. And
so it's sort of that frustration, that like that challenge to yourself, or that whole whatever, that goal that you set for yourself, whether it's to play all the best games there is or to finish a game you like. It's just like what made me think about it recently was that The Last of Us 2 might be one of the first white whale games I've finished, actually. And it's definitely one of it's definitely the most recent one I've played. It came out, it's October now, came out in Mathtown, June.
I forgot something at the grocery store. I need to go back to Mathtown.
Came out about 5 months ago, which doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
But
did it come out actually when we were in lockdown?
Yeah, it came out in June 19th, I think.
Okay.
So, well, June, July, August, September, October, that my fingers tell me 5.
Okay.
But my gut says maybe, as they say in Futurama. So I should have finished that game in a week, is what it comes down to.
Right. Just because, like
July 19th? Go ahead.
Yeah, you played the original Last of Us multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's been one of your favorite games.
Absolutely.
So, like, the idea of a highly anticipated sequel to one of your, favorite games, like, everything points to the idea of, I'm going to be lost to the world for a week as I play this. You know? But then, like, when the game came out, I mean, you played it, but it did go unplayed for a while. I do think, like, a good chunk of that comes from the, like you said, the anxiety-inducing vibes that it gives you.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even in a game that, maybe isn't, like, the most chill game in the world, I don't think not many people will play a game or watch a movie or something with the express intent of, like, man, I want this to make me a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
Like, I've just gotten home from a long day at work.
And yet horror movies exist.
Exactly.
Horror games exist.
Yeah. I want to feel incredible dread.
Our guest was climbing Jason's jacket.
Yep.
I
Yep.
just was concerned about the
Now they're
integrity.
Yep, now Johan is trying to grab my legs. I'm guessing this indicates that our sound designer has some criticism about our setup or what it is that we're doing, but
Yep.
there's a small language barrier.
Anyhow, it's what? Yeah, I was just thinking, when's the last time you played a game that stressed you out, Jace?
The last time I played a game that stressed me out, gosh, I honestly I really can't think of one.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I was just to think, I mean, there's obviously games that can give you, fits of like a little bit of anxiety or anticipation. Like if you're like playing an action game and it's, got you all kind of like worried or something.
Yeah.
Or if you're playing a horror game and you're thinking some zombie is going to jump out and maul me any
That's
minute.
pretty much what I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm confusing stress with fear.
There's elements of both.
Yeah.
But it's like,
it's the repeated fear that becomes stress, I guess.
I think what separates it from, like, say, playing a game like Resident Evil versus The Last of Us is, like, say, if you're playing Resident Evil, and Leon is walking down a hallway and a bro with a chainsaw shows up and cuts you in half, you just restart the checkpoint.
Right.
And you are fairly certain that Leon is going to make it through the game and not die.
Yeah.
But The Last of Us does not give you such assurances.
No.
Like, I mean, you could, like, if you're thinking, yeah, I might be playing the game really well, but this character that I've come to really love, they may die. And,
it's something that you have to deal with in this game, and it's that's exactly what can delay you from finishing. But
exactly. And what's funny is, like, most of the games that I play a lot of JRPGs and whatnot, and no one stays dead in those games.
What about Aerith, though?
Oh no. But like some characters may die, but then it's just like, next game, I'm actually okay. This was all part of my master plan all along.
What?
Exactly, yeah. So it's like, I won't mention this game in particular, but like there was a game that I had played, and there was this incredibly emotional scene with a central character dying unexpectedly, and like I felt nothing for it.
Oh, really?
Because I was like, you're gonna be alive in the next game. Like, I don't for a minute believe that you're dead for real.
That's funny. Astute listeners will know what game I'm talking about. I played a JRPG that had a character die. 45 minutes later, they're back, baby.
Yeah.
But I was tearing up.
Right.
They got me.
Yeah, exactly.
But, so no, when we were talking about the prep for this episode, we decided to sort of categorize the white whales. What are those games that you let's start with the unfinished games, because I did talk about The Last of Us. The other one for me, it's my quintessential white whale, I think, is
for unfinished games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is Paper Mario.
The original one?
Yeah. I have started that like 4 times. I've gotten about halfway through most of the time. I just can't seem to bring myself to finish it. And the whole series, I mean, the game is great, and the whole series is fantastic, so it kind of leads into this whole unplayed portion, because the rest of those games are all really good, and I haven't played them because I didn't finish the first one, yada, yada, yada.
Right. It puts, like, Paper Mario in particular is in a weird position for you, because it is a Mario game that is also an RPG. So it's just like, on one hand, you're thinking, okay, it's a Mario game. Hell yeah, I am so ready for this. But then it's an RPG, and you're like...
It's the meme with the 2 buttons and the sweating guy.
It is. Yeah, it's exactly that.
It's, yeah, and it is a little, like, the combat is a little slow-paced. It's not very tactical. It's more like, can you charge up and use your star bomb or whatever?
Yeah.
And Yeah, like, big
Or
deal.
bonk someone with a hammer, yeah.
Exactly. It's just a matter of trying to jump on those Goombas first and getting that preemptive strike or whatever.
Yep.
But, damn it, I want to play those games.
Right.
I want to play the new one, even. That one came out in July, I want to say.
Yeah, the new one that came out on the Switch.
And
I haven't played that either.
yeah.
And I do find myself to be a fan of the Paper Mario series. I haven't played nearly as much of them as I'd like to, but,
Right.
I at least played the original.
Is there a game that you started that you were like, God, I gotta finish that one day?
Yes, Breath of the Wild would have been one of those. And if not for Techie, it probably would have stayed unplayed.
Yeah.
But she showed the interest in playing it, and so we turned it into a co-op run and finished it.
Yeah, right on.
Other games like I can think about without it be like Bloodborne, a game that I've started 2-3 times now, and it's just like have never once made it past one of the game's early bosses.
Yeah, Father Gascoigne.
Father Gascoigne, yep. And so like that game, and almost just like the Dark Souls, Bloodborne, like FromSoft as a whole series in general, is like this huge, monstrous white whale for me.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
It is, like Moby Dick himself, or herself, I don't know.
I don't know.
I shouldn't assume the whales.
Yeah, exactly. I do not know the
but anyway,
the sex of the whale.
The Dark Souls has teeth, just like Moby Dick.
Yes.
It is hard to kill, and it is, so I can get why that would be a big
Exactly.
old white whale for you.
Yeah, and it's just, and Dark Souls, I want to impale it with a giant spear. So
Yeah.
that's
That's the thing.
the biggest comparison.
You don't say that, oh, I just finished Dark Souls. People say, I beat Dark Souls. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're the winner, they're the champ.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it just, I do not, I feel like I should be able to do this. Like, I think I've,
you've got I know you have the power.
yeah, there is some power yet within me, some untapped potential to beat a Dark Souls game.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's just like, I'm like,
And I really stoke this fire myself.
you do, yeah. Like, I'm Gohan and you're Piccolo.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mr. Jeff, I don't think I can beat Dark Souls.
Pathetic. It's just too appropriate.
I know.
One day, Gohan, it'll click for you. That perfect moment when you can dodge every attack. That's when you play Dark Souls for real.
I don't know.
Dodge! Yeah. It's
another good Dragon Ball reference for the episode.
Yeah. Any analogy that uses Dragon Ball is fine by me.
Yeah, you can use Dragon Ball analogies to fit very, very many aspects of life.
He's the Jesus of our times.
You just need to have like a either a plaque or a big thing of Goku, like somewhere in the house.
Well, one of our friends actually designed I suppose both of them, the couple, Ryan and Mary, designed a T-shirt that quoted, "I am Son Goku, the defender of Earth." I am, it's like a big thing, and then it has it quoted like a Bible verse underneath where it says like Frieza Saga episode 6 or something like that.
That's fantastic. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, so they did the religious Goku thing first, I guess, and I respect them for it.
Yep. Can't take credit for it.
No.
But yeah, just getting back onto what I was topic. Like, as for like unfinished games, I honestly, like, off the top of my head, like, for the most part, I do finish the games that I get, sometimes to the point of the fact that I don't like the game anymore by the time I finish it.
Yeah. And we've talked about it before on the podcast that, life's too short to play bad games. So
yes.
you don't finish a game you don't like.
Yeah, that is definitely a good thing. Like, that's a message that I've tried to really kind of remember. Like, there are games that I'll pick up and I'll be like, yeah, I think I'll be able to play through this. And if I only get so far when I've lost steam on it, you'll have like, if you have like the little angel and devil on your shoulders, it's just like, but you paid full retail to get this, Jason. You need to finish it.
Yeah.
And then the other figure is like, no, you don't.
I like that it's so ambiguous that you don't know which is which.
I honestly don't know. Like, would it be the little devil who is saying you need to finish a game, or is it the little angel? I honestly have no idea.
Jason, I think it's the angel telling you to respect your own time and stop playing the games that you don't want to play. I just need you to hear that. Jason, you're gonna be fine.
Thank you. But yeah, like, I've developed this thing now where, like, say if I'm playing a game and if it's not working for me, I just try to remember, it's just like, okay, think about how much it costs you to get this game. Think about what you get paid to do at your job. And then, like, so if you say got like maybe like 5-ish hours out of the game, you're fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't owe you anything anymore.
Yeah. How much your time is worth. That's a good way of indicating that.
Yeah.
I make the mistake of calculating, like, how many, again, fucking math town, of trying to, like, how much joy per minute has this game given me, or, like, and how much does it cost per minute, you know what I mean? So it's like, I try to play a game for at least 30 hours so that it's like, oh, it's only 50 cents a minute or an hour or whatever. It's a very affordable experience.
Sure.
You know, I don't know. I just totally fucked that equation up. But so I guess that would be $2 an hour to play the game, or whatever. And like, if you think about going to a movie, it costs like $10 to go to a movie for 2 hours. So as long as you get that game, give it like 10 hours or so, then you...
Like, at least some measurement of enjoyment out of it, then it would be worth your time and your investment.
I know, and it's there are free games, but I'm not playing those. You know what I mean? And so for some reason, we have to calculate how much.
To be fair, though,
cost.
2 of our most loved games we both got for free. Like, you were able to get Binding of Isaac for free, and I was able to get Gone Home for free, you know? And so it's like, you know, all of that is just like, you're in the black. You are making money in how much you enjoyed this game.
I'll be the snooty actually guy, lower my glasses a little bit and say, well, actually, since you pay for the subscription, it's not free. So if it's $60 a year and they're 12 months in a year, welcome to Madtown, bitch. It's $6 per that game or something like that.
I will counterpoint in saying, if it's a purchase that I made more than a week ago, I have forgotten about it,
free.
And that it is free. Money is just an imaginary construct.
Damn straight. I'm all in on that concept.
Yep. I don't even live near Mathtown. Like, I don't even know if I'm in the same state Mathtown finds itself in.
So, yeah. What about those games that are just that you've never played them, but you feel like you really ought to and want to?
That I'd love to.
For some reason, whether it's inaccessible due to like it being too far backwards compatible or something, or whatever, too far in the past. I mean, maybe it's an Xbox exclusive and you just got an Xbox or something.
Right. Let me see. I've got a few written down here. At some point, I would love to go through like the golden age of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So basically, like Final Fantasies 6 through 9.
Okay.
You know, I've played a tiny bit of 7. And
sorry.
It's okay. I've played a tiny bit of 7, originally back when I was a kid. and I've played a little bit of 8 also when I was a kid. And it's like, both 8 and 9 are some of like the favorite games of friends of ours, and they're all such different experiences. And basically, like, almost, I feel as though like just about any JRPG fan, at some point needs to probably go through like this, like what the gold standard has been for so long for JRPGs.
It's like exactly. What's that movie collection that, you must-see movies?
Oh, like the Criterion Collection?
Yeah, for example, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely would feel it to be...
put those Final Fantasy games in there.
It really
for sure.
would, yeah.
That's funny because Final Fantasy VI is number 1 on my list.
Is it really? Nice.
Games to play that I've, like... And I finally have the means. I could have emulated it at any point in my life, but I'm trying to give... that guy who put the programming in, he's getting his royalty check.
Exactly.
25 years later, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but seriously, I have a SNES Mini now, and Final Fantasy 3 or 6, which my brain can't decide what to call it. It's on there.
Yeah. So yeah, it is possible. And yeah, like I know 7, 8, and 9 are all available on like PS4, Switch, and I think the Xbox as well.
Oh yeah.
And I mean 7 just recently has been having this enormous remake project, and so most likely it will, if I'm to play Final Fantasy 7, it's going to be the remake version.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, but with like 8 and 9, I'll probably play the originals, and 6, I think, as well. If it shows up to me somehow.
You can always borrow my SNES Mini.
Exactly. Yeah, I may very well do that. How about you? We can alternate. How about that?
Yeah. Well, I did say that. Excuse me. Oh, I did say the Paper Mario series earlier.
Okay.
But Half-Life 1 and 2.
That's on my list too, actually. Yeah.
The big games that we just haven't gotten to. Yep.
It feels like Half-Life, it feels like it's one of those like Citizen Kane of games, or like The Godfather.
Absolutely.
It's just like so many people say it's just like, yep, this is the gold standard. This is like game making at its best.
And I think that it was like the first good quirky FPS. For number 2 at least. People didn't like 1 as much, I guess, but
okay.
Well, now, and you have a PC now as well, right? Well, like kind of you're borrowing your girlfriend's and the Black Mesa project, they remade the first game to be more like the second one. It's like a fan remake that got approved by Valve or whatever.
That's super cool. I had no idea that's what that was.
Yeah, so Black Mesa is an option for us who've never played it and want something that aged very well, because it hasn't aged yet, I guess. But yeah, Half-Life, we'll get there eventually. A lot of games that were on my White Whale list, I bought a handful of them for computer.
Oh, like right when you got your computer?
PC. Yeah.
It's just like, I am finally going to play these. Like, click, 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 click.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's another one for you, Jace?
I figured I'd put this one on here. It is technically available now, but for a long time it had been a White Whale, so I felt I should put it on there.
Yeah.
And that's Shenmue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Shenmue had been this it's another kind of one of those really big classic games, and it was Shenmue's 1 and 2 were released on the Sega Dreamcast, which is a console that did not do very well, unfortunately. But like Shenmue was one of the first games that, you can attribute to a game being cinematic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it was one of the first games to have what we know now as QuickTime events. And like it was basically like a martial arts movie in a video game.
Yep.
And martial art movies and video games
It's a good
are things
combo.
that I like.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Shenmue, when I first heard about it, it just seemed like something that was just so like perfect and like that it just needed to be experienced.
Totally.
But Shenmue 3 was eventually made, and once kind of like the hype was generated for that, Sega was like, well, here, we'll port Shenmue's 1 and 2 to PS4. Enjoy, everybody. So I did play through Shenmue 1. And it was a fun experience, but it did not age well at all. And I did not finish Shenmue 2. I could have put Shenmue 2 on that previous question.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because it's like by the time I got into Shenmue 2, I was just like, I can't
It's
do
just
this
not enough.
anymore.
Yeah, and it seemed like they don't seem like my kind of game, just from what I've heard about having to go around town and ask everybody, have you heard about the guy in the brown coat?
Yes.
You know? And, oh, I can only talk to the fisherman at 6 p.m.,
Right.
so...
And I mean, there were elements of that was incredibly interesting to me in the first game, because it's like, the first game takes place largely in a small town.
Yeah.
And, and so you're trying to find the guy who killed your father. And so the game starts with you basically talking to your neighbors and just asking them, like, hey, did any of you see, like, this black car that's sped out there? So to me, it felt the closest to almost like a detective game.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, you are actually in charge of like solving this case. And there's never like a map marker saying, this is the person that you need to talk to get your clue.
That is cool.
So like that was fun. But it was done in like, in a slightly archaic way that, the novelty of that wore off fairly quickly. But, Shenmue is one of those white whales that I did eventually catch, but then I released it.
Yeah. This blubber ain't so tasty after all.
Exactly. No, thank you.
Do you have any more on the unplayed list?
Yeah. This is kind of a combination, but I would love to see what earlier, like, Fire Emblem and Persona games were like. I feel like with both Fire Emblem and Persona, I became one of those fans, like, when the series was at its most famous.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I don't get to be one of those fans that are like, I liked Persona before it was cool.
Oh, no, yeah. We're Yankees fans after the Yankees got their 10th millionth World Series.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I mean, I got to be a big fan of Persona after Persona 5 became like, reached enough of like popularity to where it like I got to hear about it. And the same can be said for Fire Emblem.
Right.
I was one of those people that when Marth and Roy were first announced in Smash Bros. Melee, or like we found them in Melee, we were all like, who the hell are these guys? Yeah. And so, and for most Smash Bros. Games, when there's a new Fire Emblem character in it, I was still like,
who the hell is Robin?
Still don't know who you are.
Exactly.
And it's only now that I know who some of these characters are, but I've still only ever played Fire Emblem Three Houses. So I would love to be able to go back and play some of these. But a lot of the games are in a very similar position to like what you were saying, where like backwards compatibility, like they're not there, or like some of these games are just so old now that it like, they may not be very accessible.
It's pricey to find them and whatnot.
Exactly. And also, I'm a wimp for Fire Emblem. I play it on casual, because like I like the idea of the permadeath thing. Like, while it seems interesting, it would probably give me extreme amounts of anxiety when I'm doing a battle. And so I'd like to avoid it.
Understandable. Like, it's definitely, we were talking about stressful games. I remember it's stressful to have so-and-so on the brink of death,
Yes.
So, as for unloved games, like, there are some of these games that we would try and we're like, I can't, why can't I love you, And pretty much a lot of the JRPGs that I've tried, which isn't that many, fit under that bill. Like, oh, you gotta try Chrono Trigger. It's the best thing ever on SNES. And I'm like, this is boring, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's sort of like... And this is a little less of a white whale thing. It's more like a, you know, a gem that just isn't attractive to us anymore.
Yeah.
You know? And like Civ 6, the Civ games, that was an example of one that I got for PC when I...
First got your PC.
Yeah. I ended up just playing it for like an hour or two, and I'm like, I don't really get it yet, you know? And and just from the way of the nature of things, I just haven't gone back to it yet. I still might, you know.
Exactly.
But it's like I thought I was going to be a diehard Civ fan, basically.
Right. Like, yeah, you felt like it might work for you.
Yeah.
And that was the same way with me with Bloodborne. You know, with having a like a gothic horror like RPG with like action elements. Like on paper,
it sounds great.
that is many things that work for me. But like once the controller was in my hand and once I'm going through it, like the connection just was not there.
Yeah, and we might still do a Let's Play of it on the channel.
Yes,
you know?
we very well might.
We did record an episode for it, but it's just the way it goes with Jason and Bloodborne. I tried to drag them kicking and screaming through the streets of Yharnam, and Jason just latched onto the bricks of the flooring in the streets, and I'm like, okay, you're not moving.
Yep,
you know?
basically.
It's not their fault. It's, it's just the way life is, you know.
Right.
It happened around the pandemic time, too.
You did, yes. I think we put that episode together. I think the lockdowns were starting to lift, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's like, we just still haven't had like the opportunity or made the opportunity to kind of give it, you know, a little more effort. And it's like it's a similar thing with the JRPGs. Is like, you know, we've both Sean and myself, we've both kind of tried, like, you know, if we recommend a JRPG to Jeff, it's just like we have to find the most accessible and least JRPG game.
Right.
So Persona 5 worked.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent exception to most of the things about JRPGs that I don't happen to like that much, you know.
Exactly.
The action was fast-paced and tactical, and it wasn't overwhelming, and the story was actually engaging, and, you know, just like, yeah, it was fun. Yeah,
so it worked. So Sean and I, to this day, we're trying to figure out, like, you know, Sean and I, we're driving by Math Town right now, and we're like, what is this equation that Persona has, and how do we apply it to other games to find out what is the next Jeff JRPG?
And it's funny, just the other day, we were all sitting around, Jason, Sean, and I, and I'm like, what JRPG has the best turn-based combat, in your opinion? And they were both like, Persona. So, it's like, I guess I played the best one already. Don't have to play anymore.
Exactly, yeah. No, you got that. Yeah, just... And coming from someone who loves the genre, it's just like, I mean, if you can dip your toe in that pool and not just fall face first into the bottom of the pool, you might be okay.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who has, like, you know, I've set up
drowned.
Drowned, or like I've set up a small beach house at the pool. Like, I live next to the pool now.
Jason has become aquatic person.
Exactly.
Scaly under legs. That's it. Just the underlegs.
Yep.
What's an underleg? Don't ask.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm some sort of mer person at this point.
Yes. Exactly. Do you have games? Bloodborne is a perfect example. Another one for me, for you. That's another take on the white whale. Games that we can't get other people to love. The biggest white whale in that case has got to be Dragon Ball Fighters for Jason, for me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I just want them to love it. Jason, like when you were describing, sometimes, you know, if you find a game that has all the elements of what you love and yet somehow it just doesn't click for you, I'm like, Fighters, you know. It's an anime fighter with the Dragon Ball characters.
Yeah.
And what more do you need? But...
Exactly, yeah. And it's like I have put in a decent amount of time into Fighters. You know, we when the game came out, you know, our group of friends, yeah, we played a lot of it. But it's just I was the first to kind of just drop out of it. You know, to make another Dragon Ball allegory. Like if our group of friends are the Z Fighters, like right now I'm like, well, I'm Yamcha.
Yeah,
I
you've
thought
always
maybe
said that, actually.
Exactly. I thought maybe I was Krillin, but I'm Yamcha.
Yeah.
Like I don't even get invited to the Tournament of Power.
You know what? Jason's Yamcha, and I mean, you guys don't know these people necessarily, but I'm Vegeta and Sean is Goku, and I am always training. I am always in that freaking like gravity station at Bulma's house, and I'm like, damn it, Kakarot, I will beat you one day. Yeah, but
and Sean is just at home like eating an impossibly huge bowl of fish.
Exactly, and
like, this is delicious.
Yeah. Oh, Fighters, I'll play a little. Oh, did I win? Whoops.
I love this comparison so much.
Andy is Gohan. His latent potential has finally come to pass. Yeah. He's that damn Kakarot though. But the tournament of Cell's tournament is happening in 10 days, Kakarot, and you're not training? You know, Vegeta went into the hyperbolic time chamber by himself, and Kakarot just sat by the lakeside and like just rested up. You know, that's exactly what's happening. I am in the hyperbolic time chamber right now. You're gonna see Vegeta with a beard pretty soon.
Nice. Anyway,
so what? Yeah, do you have one for me, that a game you can't get me to love?
I think I do.
Oh, you do?
I think I do. That's Yakuza.
Yeah.
Yeah? Like, you did try it.
I did.
I think, was it...
I tried 1.
1, yes. Okay, yeah. So it would have been the remake of 1, which, in my mind, is probably the most accessible Yakuza game. Because, like, the story is at its least convoluted. And, the combat has evolved pretty steadily throughout the games. So you can play, if you can play the combat in 1, you're fine. But yeah, the story is that it's just most accessible and understandable, you know? And but yeah, it's just it just didn't click. And you know, that's okay. Like when I first started playing the Yakuza games, and I started with 0, I had this thing where it did not click right away because the experience it offers is so much different from like the way open world games had been like exposed to me here in the West, you know? But like after it did click, like it's funny, but like once Yakuza clicked with me, it's part of what made current like Western like open world games feel way less compelling.
Yeah, you're like, where's the karaoke?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can't do karaoke in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
What's this garbage?
I wonder if you probably can't.
Maybe in one of the games. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, because I just couldn't care.
Exactly. And you know what?
That's okay.
That's okay.
That's the moral of the story of Moby Dick, right? Is don't become obsessed with these white whales.
Exactly.
And so I have, as much as it hurts, I have stopped trying to. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I'll still get Jason to play Fighters once it clicks for you, Jason.
Yeah.
But
every once in a while, Yamcha does still manage to find himself in some form
That's right.
of struggle.
Yeah. Yep. Yamcha, the baseball episode is around the corner.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, is there a baseball episode like in my future for fighters? I don't know.
Maybe once Riprian or whatever comes out.
Yeah, if that happens, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's like, yeah, there's you're probably even less likely to play the newest Yakuza because its combat has changed to a more conventional JRPG.
Oh, really?
Sort of thing, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's more like a...
It's going to be a little more turn-based.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know. The people at Sega, they were basically, like, they've freely admitted, it's just like, we just wanted to try something different.
Yeah.
If you guys don't like it, we won't do it in the next game. You know?
Interesting.
So, but it's just like, I'm just incredibly, just in general, just incredibly excited to see it.
Yeah, for sure. What's the next one going to be called?
Like a Dragon.
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep. It's the first one with a new protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's in a lot of ways, it is a clean slate, as far as I know.
Maybe if that game just reaches like incredible critical acclaim, and by that I mean people other than diehard fans like Jason are like, it's good, it's really good. No. You see, Jason, if anyone else tells me to play it, I'll play it. But if you tell me,
I just don't believe you.
Yeah. You've been corrupted by Kiryu.
Yes, I have. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Yakuza shirt right now, actually, now that I realize it. I'm so on brand today.
Yes, you are. So we'll slay these white whales one day or another.
Indeed. Or we'll make peace with these whales.
That's right.
Yeah.
Some whales must be eaten.
And some whales must be free to do whale things.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Don't hunt the whales.
Exactly.
That's
hunt the whales if it's necessary for survival, but don't hunt the whales for sport.
Definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
There's better ways to get whale oil. Like, don't get whale oil.
Just makes me think of Dishonored.
Yeah. Did you know that whale oil is highly explosive and it's basically super good at making teleportation devices and crap?
I can't see how this would be bad.
Yeah, no. Let's just put this next to our guard post. Yeah.
Yeah. This will be fine. Yeah. It should be just fine.
Well, I guess that sort of ramps up what we had to say today.
Yeah, I believe it does. Yeah, it was just the white whales in gaming, patent pending on that term. It was a term that, Jeff brought up to me, and it was just like, it seemed like such an interesting concept, and so it felt like something to dig into. So hopefully the people who are listening to this episode will have we'll probably reach some similar things.
Find us on Twitter and tell us what your white whales are.
Exactly.
What is our Twitter handle? Super Turbo
64 podcast.
64 podcast.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, and we will feature links to our Twitter in the description of this episode, wherever you're listening to it.
Yeah. And we're going to be streaming on Twitch one day. We'll have that on the Twitter when you get there.
Yep. Twitter is going to be where we're going to be pretty much posting, pretty much anything you need to know about the podcast will be there. So if you like Twitter, like us.
And if you don't like Twitter, you're about to.
Yeah.
For us. And only us.
Because there's just nothing but good coming up from Twitter.
Should we get into a quick hour-long discussion about Twitter, Jason?
No.
Okay.
All right. Until we see you all next week, or next week. Next time, yes. I hope everybody has wonderful times.
Have a great time, everyone.
Later.
Bye.